Hi guys, Tom Hunt here in the kit room. I want to do something little bit different on this episode. I want to talk a little bit more kind of vloggy style, and I'm not going to give you any kind of specific tips on stuff, but I want to talk maybe a little bit more about my kind of philosophy around lure fishing, because I think I've got a few tips that I can pass across to you, or certain ways of thinking that I think if you're in the market of wanting to become better, or wanting to learn new techniques, or wanting to fish for new species, I've got a few tips that I think I can pass across that will really help in making you a much better angler. And it's really based around something that I think we all understand, and that is the fact that we fall into the trap over and over again of fishing the same venues for the same species using the same methods, and often specifically even down to the exact same favorite lure sometimes. And we do that because it's within our comfort zone. We really feel comfortable. It's our favorite. We have confidence in it. But I really want to try and pass across a couple of tips to you on how you can maybe think about expanding your kind of armory, expanding your methods and your techniques and your lures, just so that basically you can become a better angler. Because what it's about really is finding out each of the different styles of lures, so whether it's spinner baits, crankbaits, drop shot, soft plastics, fishing for pike, fishing for chub, fishing for whatever species, whatever method, it's really about, we have perfect scenarios that get presented due to certain conditions. So we turn up fishing one day, maybe the water's quite warm, maybe the weed growth is up, maybe the water's quite clear. There will be certain techniques that will work much better on any given day for any set of circumstances. And if you've never fished those techniques before, or you don't know how to, or you're not confident in them, then you'll go back to fishing the same old method that you already know, and chances are it might not be working on that particular day. So I really kind of see this as the ability, once you learn these techniques and become a really well-rounded angler, you will catch fish that you ordinarily wouldn't have previously caught. And also, I just think it's so much more satisfying, the ability to kind of read the water, read the conditions, read the fish, and then really kind of pick a specific method that you're going to attack them with, and then get those results. And ultimately, as a tournament angler, that is my number one passion, because I'm always that competitive element. I'm always trying to kind of catch more than those around me, or to a certain degree, I'm just trying to catch more than myself, my past me. I'm always trying to better myself. So even if you're not a tournament angler, really kind of consider getting yourself out of that comfort zone. Now, here's the two main tips. The first one is, you've got to sit down, you've got to identify a species or a method, that you really want to learn. So take crankbaits, for example. The first tip is go onto YouTube and read as much or see as many kind of video articles as you can, because what that will do is all of those tips will narrow down. So you should be roughly in the right ballpark area. You should know roughly what type of kit to use. You should know roughly sort of how to fish these certain crankbaits. You should know the difference, for example, between a shallow runner and a deep runner, and which one you're going to select on the day. And you should know roughly how to kind of retrieve them. However, and this comes on to my second tip, you won't have the first-hand experience of really learning all those subtle nuances. And so this is my tip. If you want to learn crankbaits, only force yourself to only take crankbaits for somewhere between 4 and 6 sessions. Try and mix it up. So one time you might, a couple of times go to a canal, a couple of times go to a river, mix it up slightly. And what that will do is we all fall into the trap of trying something, and then if it doesn't work for about 10 minutes, then we just go back to our tried and trusted technique. And if you don't give yourself the opportunity to do that, then you will force yourself to learn a little bit more. Now, there might be some pain involved. There might be some, there's a learning curve in anything. There might be some blanks in there. There might be a bit of frustration. You might be thinking, God, I wish I listened to Tom. I only get to go fishing once a week, and I'm sure I would have caught if I'd just taken my favourite lures. However, once you get yourself through that learning curve, you're really going to, and I'll try and get this across in the right words, it's not about necessarily saying to yourself, right, I'm going to go and catch on crankbaits today. It's about knowing the differences of when a crankbait's best, or when a spinnerbait's best, or when a drop shot's best. And once you've got a few of these tools in your tool bag, then whatever scenario gets presented to you, there's only a certain species that's fit, only the perch are feeding, only the water's really, really clear, the water's really hot, there's lots of weed growth. Whatever the scenario is, you can look at that scenario and you can assess it, and you can think, I know what's going to be best today. And that, for me, is the most satisfying thing, is the ability to kind of read the conditions, read the species, read how they're feeding, and then use the best of your ability, rather than just, going back to the same tried and trusted techniques that but actually might not be the most effective for that given scenario. It's so much more satisfying when you kind of think, yeah, right, I really think they're going to be top water surface fishing today. And you go out and you know how to fish a surface lure because you forced yourself to a few months ago, and then the perfect scenario comes up and you say to your mates, or you're with yourself, and you think, I never used to fish a surface lure. And then you go out there and you're fishing a walk the dog surface lure like that, and one comes up and smacks it, and you catch yourself a PB chub, or you catch yourself a PB pike. There is nothing more exciting than that personal development growth from forcing yourself to learn a new technique, and then having that in your skill set and pulling the results out. It's definitely the most satisfying thing for me as a tournament angler. I'm always trying to beat people, and especially the multi-species side of it. I really love the ability, say we've got a format which is one pike, one perch, one zander. I love thinking to myself, right, I'm going to go and catch a pike. So I'm looking in 10 to 20 foot of water, and I'm fishing big lures, and I'm casting in heavy lures, and I'm fishing mid-water, and I'm fishing quite quick, and I've got my pike fishing down, and I'm really confident, and bang, I get one, I get it in the net, and I think, brilliant, I can chalk that off my card. And then I'm thinking zander, so I put my pike rod down, pick my zander rod up, I go and find 60 or 70 foot deep if we're at Rutland, and I'm fishing in a completely different way. I'm probably fishing with 40 gram or possibly even 50 gram jig heads, but much smaller lures, and I'm bouncing along the bottom, and I'm trying to get my hang time just right for my zander, and then bang, bang, catch a couple of zander, and then absolutely fantastic, they're chalked off, and then I've got to go and catch a perch. So I look for a little bit shallower, and I change. Do you see what I mean? Like, it's so interesting to kind of really keep switching it up throughout the day or throughout the seasons, learning those new techniques. So a couple of tips in there. Do plenty of research on YouTube to get yourself roughly in the ballpark before you go. And then once you go, make sure you've only got that method, and kind of force yourself. Be a little bit dogmatic. Force yourself to fish it, learn it, catch on it. And it's so much more interesting and so much more fun. You'll become such a better angler. I just think that it's something that resonates with me massively, and it's the trap that we fall into. I think we can all recognise that. So trying to get beyond the other side of that trap, I think there's a much, much better angler in you. So, a little bit of a different one today. Hope you enjoyed it. If there are any techniques or methods that you're not familiar with, or you'd like some tips, just drop it in the comments below. I'd be happy to give a few tips. I don't know all of them, but I'd say I'm a pretty good all-rounder these days. And so I'll do my best to give you a few tips and a bit of help on it. But hope that helped, guys. Enjoy your fishing, stay safe, and until next time, I'll see you then.